Okay, boys and girls, so last time we were working on our James Rizzi landscapes or cityscapes. We started by making our buildings, right, with some rectangles, easy geometric shapes, and then on the top we added different details like triangles or circles. You could put a couple of geometric shapes together and make things like towers. And then you went on to add faces. You could pick the faces from this paper, right? These were all ready-made faces, or you can mix and match eyes, nose, and mouth, and all of these are based on Rizzi's actual paintings. Okay? When you were done adding the faces, adding all the details, you may have come up with something like this. Okay? Now I want to show you how to add some crayon details and some marker details and turn it into a painting. Okay? So I'm going to start with crayon first. The thing about crayon is that crayon resists watercolors. Because crayons are made of wax, and water and wax don't like each other, if you paint or put water over top of crayon, the crayon will just show through. The paint and the water won't stick to it. Now, I think I want this one to be a nighttime picture. Okay? So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to add the moon. Okay? I'm going to use a gray. I'm going to make the moon over here. And anything that I'm going to put paint over, I need to color it in with the crayon if I want that crayon to show up. Okay? Now, because did you hear what I said? Crayons give off light. Because the moon gives off light, I'm going to take some yellow crayon and I'm going to go around my moon to show that it's giving off light. What else would be in a night sky? Probably stars, right? So I'm going to do the same thing with yellow, and I'm going to make some stars, and I make them almost like bullseyes. I make a center, and then I make a ring around, and another ring around, like they're giving off light. Okay? And you could do as many different stars as you want. Now, if you want it to be a daytime picture, you can do that as well. But instead of drawing the moon, you would draw the sun. Instead of drawing stars, consider drawing clouds. Okay? Or if you want to draw like birds in your sky, consider using a black crayon and adding some birds. You don't need to add, though, very much to it. You just need to add a little bit, just enough for us to know and to be able to tell what kind of day and what time of day it is in your painting. Okay? Once you've done your sky, you're done with your crayons, you can put those away, and then you're going to move on to markers, okay? You're going to have a basket of markers at your table to share. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to outline the sky, okay? Now, I want this to be a night sky, so I'm going to use my marker, the blue marker, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm going right over my crayon, and I'm outlining the whole area that is the sky. I'm going around the buildings a little bit. Okay, I don't have to do every spot around the buildings, but I'm going around them, at least some. once you finish going around the sky, then you're going to want to trace around each building on the inside of the building with a different color marker. Each building should be a different color. Okay? So this building I'm doing like a teal or turquoise. So I go all the way around the edge of the building. Okay? All the way around the edge. Don't forget the little parts of the building that are up above. The next building I think I'm going to do pink. So I'm going to go all the way around the edge. Now notice how I'm using the side of the marker. Okay? The chisel tip is what it's called. Okay? I don't want to make skinny lines like that. I want to make nice big lines. And sometimes you can even go over those lines twice and make it extra thick. The thicker it is, the more this will work like watercolor paint. Okay. Next one. Now, when one is behind the other one, you need to pay careful attention and make sure you go along where those two buildings meet. Okay? So let's pretend I've done all my buildings. Okay? I've done my sky. I've done all my buildings. Okay? Here you can see I did a daytime sky, but let's say I've done all my buildings. I'm going to go around this one just to show you. Okay. Nice thick lines. I'm going to make this one even bigger. Purple blends really, really well. Yellow does not. So if you're going to choose to do one of your buildings with yellow like I am, make sure you make an extra thick line for yellow. So we're going along and making it really thick. So now all of the buildings are done. When you have all of your buildings outlined, your sky outlined, and you've added the color that you want with crayons to the sky, you're going to raise your hand and tell me you need magic spray. This is the magic spray. It is just H2O. Okay? What I'm going to do is come around with the magic spray, and I'm going to spray your paper for you. Okay? And you'll notice right off the bat that it starts to spread. Then you're going to take your wet paintbrush that's on your table on top of your messy mats, and you're just going to lightly with your wet paintbrush, you're just going to touch that and spread that water just very gently. I'm barely touching. The lighter you work, the better the paint moves. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing for the yellow one. Each time, though, I add more water. The thing about this paper that we're using today is that it's not watercolor paper. Okay? If it was watercolor paper, we could add basically as much water to it as we would want and nothing would happen. But because this is just drawing paper, if we add too much water, first it's going to pill up and make these like little, what I call paper boogers. They're like little paper boogers on the paper. And it'll get thin and then it'll rip or put a hole in it. So, as you're working, don't put too much water. Let an area dry a little if you feel like, ooh, it's getting too soaked there. Okay? Once you've gone over everything with water, once you've painted it all in, then it is done, and you're going to put it on the drying rack. Okay? Please try to only put up to 6 of these on the drying rack. Don't let them overlap someone else's. Okay? Okay. That is all there is to it, and I hope you guys do a really good job.